A mass casualty drill is underway on the shores of the Indian Ocean in Kwale County, one of Kenya's old coastal towns. The drill is a response to the growing threat posed by natural disasters to human life and property, hence the need of using simulations as an essential tool for enhancing disaster preparedness worldwide. While undeniably important, what exactly prompted the clarion call to incorporate simulations into disaster management initiatives in coastal Kenya?
The main reason why some of these mass casualty drills are held in the coastal region is because the initiative was started with the tsunami. So we wanted the people at the coastal region to be prepared. We wanted to create that awareness.
The tsunami that everybody talks about in 2004, I am not sure whether anyone had given a forecast that there would be this. The formation, the rupture was so sudden that there wasn't much one could do.
Charles Karisa, a marine tour guide at Pirates Beach in Mombasa, shares an account of the events on that fateful day when the tsunami happened.
I saw wonders. After some minutes, there appeared wonders I have never witnessed since I was born. I saw a cloud joined with the sky following me. Looking at the guests who are walking on the island, they are running towards me.
Kenya's location along the equator spared it from the worst of the tsunami, with only 2 fatalities reported.
So there was a state of confusion. We were submerged by water. We started floating on water, and luckily some of the visitors we were with were wearing life jackets, and it became easy to save them. There wasn't any loss from the incidents.
Karisa felt fortunate to have survived the deadly tsunami, as he later learned from the media about its devastating impact on other parts of the Indian Ocean.
That wave didn't occur the way it happened in other countries like Mauritius, Thailand, China, where it swept off dozens of people, destroyed people's businesses, even cars were carried away by water. We're lucky on this side because of the coral reef. It really helped us. Were it not for that coral reef, the entire Mombasa island could have submerged.
The Indian Ocean is vital to the coastal community, supporting livelihoods through tourism and other economic activities. However, disasters like tsunamis and sea surges highlight the pressing need for improving early warning systems to protect lives and sustain the local economy.
2004 tsunami. What I want to say is there were learnings that were obtained within that period. There were nuances that were gotten within that period during the tsunami itself, and also during the recovery process.
We are really where we're supposed to be when it comes to disaster management, and it comes more from preparation. You know, are we prepared? And are we informed? Do we have the data to at least, you know, to help us maybe predict and all those things? You know, are we informed? Are the people who are likely to get affected informed?
They are located at the equator. So a cyclone or a hurricane is not likely to occur in Kenya.
Well, of course, there are
those other forms of hazards that we are prone to. And I can say that with the kind of arrangement we have in place, we are prepared because we have identified the risk owner.
Red Cross are really trying. If there is anything in the ocean, you'll see them walking around. And if you talk to them, they will give you information as it is. We called for seminars to be taught about different incidences that could happen in water and how you can help yourself or another person.
Christopher Odinga, a 46-year-old sand sculptor, is just one of the many individuals whose livelihood depends on the ocean and its beaches.
mapato yangu inatokana na hii kazi, na hii kazi ni juu
It
ya
is through
bahari.
this art that I earn a living. If the ocean didn't have this type of soil, I wonder where it would have made something like this. So the ocean is very important to me for creating something like this which brings tourists. They work with me, they take photos,
Nao ndio
they support
wanafanya
me.
kazi na mimi, wanapiga picha, wanani support.
For a moment, Odinga was overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty, a lingering effect of the post-tsunami trauma which temporarily halted his son's sculpting business.
Wakati wa tsunami tulikuwa affected sana kwa sababu
At the time of the tsunami, we were really affected. We weren't allowed to come to the ocean because you wouldn't know what time the hurricane would come, and it was raining heavily. So it really affected me because I couldn't come to the beach to work. So I was really affected that I almost died of hunger.
Odinga's determination is inspiring despite his inability to walk. Sadly though, that makes him vulnerable to natural disasters like tsunamis and fluctuating weather. His story calls for inclusive disaster risk reduction initiatives that address the challenges faced by people with disabilities.
It is not everyone that has access to media. So if you don't have a smartphone, then you can't Google and check things like that. Or probably if you're disabled at home and you don't have TV or radio, you can't tell what's happening. We PWDs should be involved significantly, since we know ourselves and where each and every one of us is, and how we can assist ourselves.
According to UNDRR, persons with disabilities constitute 16% of the world's population, with 80% living in the global south. They are frequently the most affected by natural hazards, climate-induced disasters, and the global health emergencies.
Katika mambo ya majanga,
on issues disaster, the government has really tried. But we PWDs also want to be included because we ourselves know our challenges. If a hurricane is coming, we start early enough before other normal people. If something will happening next, us, we shall start 2 weeks before.
As a person with disability on the wheelchair, where I live, I've made my environment conducive for me as a wheelchair user. When you are taking me to a disaster rescue center, is it possible that I will be able to have a toilet that can accommodate me on the wheelchair, because it could not be there? So how are we preparing these centers again to accommodate disability?
Zoom in, kwanza zoom in.
Muleka emphasizes the vital role of media in creating inclusive content. His media house leads by example, actively involving people living with disabilities in producing their own stories to ensure equitable representation.
80% of our programming is actually brought by persons with disabilities. So what happens is we've made it like a demand for every persons with disabilities within their disabilities to talk about what are some of these risky areas or disaster issues. For example, the disaster that the disaster process and the recovery process and the early warning system that goes to a deaf person is not necessarily the same disaster preparedness and the experience and the recovery that will be experienced by a person with visual impairment.
The established media houses have a duty to ensure that issues of disaster management are given a key priority in their reporting, in their discussions, in their bulletins, so that that awareness is created before, during, and after a disaster situation.
The National Disaster Management Unit has established a framework to enhance interaction and communication with persons with disabilities during disaster preparedness activities.
As a directorate, we have sign language interpreters, and we have put measures in place to ensure that during our response, we do move together with these sign language interpreters.
Despite the efforts being made to accelerate DRR resilient programs, the National Disaster Management Unit is still faced with challenges.
When we have funds in place, we can reposition relief items early enough. Then we may not need the road transport and even air transport, because the distribution centers will be nearer to those who have been affected. But finding these resources to put in these hubs, and then you are able to distribute this within the shortest time possible, has been a challenge.
For the global community, the tsunami's devastating impact served as a crucial wake-up call for the international community to urgently implement measures to mitigate future disasters and safeguard lives and properties as envisioned by Sendai Framework.
This framework basically focuses on addressing some of the dimensions of disaster, which include, but not limited to, maybe exposure to the hazard, vulnerability and capacity building, and even issues of hazard characteristics.
There is also a shared belief in educating local communities to interpret early warning systems through traditional methods, complementing the Kenya Meteorological Department's information, which has occasionally faced public distrust.
We as sailors, we only use our brains. If you look at the ocean the way it is coming, it'll be apparent the ocean is unusual and it will wreak havoc. When the rain is near, butterflies are too many like this waste. They usually pass going this way, so if they disappear, it starts raining, and that's immediately after Easter. The butterflies pass, then rain follows.
Within the traditional knowledge, we know that certain migratory patterns of birds and insects and whatever are supposed to talk about a certain a disaster that is coming. So how do we relay that information to persons with disability to be able to use that also within their sphere?
What is our collaboration like when it comes to local and even international? Because I mean, some of these information we get, you know, we have to borrow also from elsewhere to know what they have been able to see and predict.
There is a concept that we are calling co-production now. And that's where they come in. And it's not just the indigenous users, but even general users of the information.
The director, Kenya Met, appreciates the milestones achieved in improving the country's early warning systems while working in collaboration with other world weather forecasting agencies.
This is a science that is always evolving. We are in touch with WMO. We are making forecasts that agree with what every other forecaster in the rest of the world is doing. And we are always trying to be at par with the rest of the world.
In the same breath, legislation is currently underway in Parliament to establish the Kenya Meteorological Service Authority, with a primary focus on improving efficiency and service delivery in weather forecasting. Most importantly, the Kenya Meteorological Service Authority will prepare and disseminate marine and tsunami early warning advisories as designated by Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization as the Indian Ocean Tsunami Watch Center. To promote and accelerate resilience efforts in disaster risk reduction across Kenya, International Disaster Risk Reduction Day is observed with great importance.
We need a framework where we can be able to involve the whole country so that that understanding and awareness is created among the population. There are agencies in the UN, a few of them do participate, the civil society and all that, but we need a situation where all stakeholders participate.
December 26, 2024 also marked the 20th anniversary of the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami that was triggered by a 9.1 magnitude earthquake off Sumatra, Indonesia. This deadly phenomenon claimed approximately 230,000 lives and left many homeless, a somber reminder of the tragedy's impact and the critical lessons learned. As the world commemorates the 20th anniversary of the tsunami, Odinga's passion for art, despite his disability, serves as a powerful source of inspiration. However, his story also serves as a crucial reminder for stakeholders in disaster preparedness to prioritize the inclusion of persons with disabilities in their initiatives. Such efforts are essential for promoting societal justice and creating a safer world for everyone.
Ya kwa walemavu wenzangu mimi na
Yeah, to my fellow PWDs, I give you morale. Don't just sit at home. Make effort. You, myself, I have made effort here. If I get like $2, I know that's for flour. Don't be beggars. Work. You see that I have put some energy here and it's done.
Piga kazi bana, cheki kifua hii nimepiga mnyama nimemaliza hiyo.